2019, the worldwide phenomenon known as Demon Slayer premieres. This battle shonen about a young man in the late 19th, early 20th century, running around fighting demons, all in an effort to return his sister's humanity, immediately gripped the world and took over. I mean, the worldwide pandemic forcing people to have to resort to streaming just to have any sort of meaning to their lives, and thus getting more into anime, as well as anime's easier accessibility, and Demon Slayer kind of being the big new hype thing at the time. That helped a lot, actually. But once the train started, it would not stop. Haha, you know why I said that? Because then we had Demon Slayer Mugen Train, a movie that literally became a worldwide phenomenon and broke box office efforts the world over that it, honest to God, did not fucking deserve. But, I mean, like, you know, movie theaters were just opening up, and this was obviously probably done and ready, so it was easy to get out there and easily accessible, and therefore just kind of became the big thing. But after the movie came out, the hype would not die, as season 2 came like a year-ish later, and the hype was still real, until we realized that the first like 7 or 8 episodes was going to be the movie in TV form. And then you get to the next arc, and there's some shit in there that I think rubbed people the wrong way. It didn't bother me as much, but it definitely had its impact. And then also, the next thing you announce is you're doing another movie, but the movie is just like the last 2 episodes of the arc you just wrapped up, and an extended first episode for the next arc that was mostly just people talking. So I think that's when kind of people started feeling like this was just becoming a dumb cash grab. But that hype would continue on to season 3, except it kind of didn't. So yeah, and now don't get me wrong, Demon Slayer is still one of the biggest anime of the world and maybe of all time. This show is fucking huge and still has tons of fans and lovers and supporters all over the world. And if you are one of those people, I'm really happy for you. I am genuinely happy more people have gotten into anime in the past few years than maybe ever before, and Demon Slayer, whether you want to admit it or not, is a big part of that. So whatever the show's quality may be, I do appreciate what it has done for the medium of anime as a whole, even if I wish maybe more people who just watch things like Demon Slayer or JJK would check out some other genres. Please, people, I'm kind of getting tired of only hearing people want to talk about Demon Slayer or JJK right now. Will someone please watch My Happy Marriage with me? But yeah, so if you couldn't kind of get the idea of where this video is going, I kind of want to talk about where Demon Slayer is kind of heading. Because even though season 3 was still massive, it feels like some cracks in the ship are starting to appear. And I do feel like many people are expecting the sinking of that ship to be coming sooner rather than later, which I think is interesting because in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't all long ago that everyone loved this show and just decided it was the greatest shonen ever, rather it deserved it or not. Even when you look at its contemporaries, I do not think the level of people kind of falling off was happening by this time for My Hero Academia. Now, yes, there are obviously a lot of different factors at play, but it does feel like we're seeing the sort of cycle of people growing out of their favorite shonens to be going a little bit quicker. And that's kind of what I'd like to talk about today. Namely, asking you all the question, does Demon Slayer truly deserve to be looked at as a show falling from grace, or were the problems kind of always there, and maybe just now that it's been a couple years, y'all are just starting to notice? It's the second one. It is 100% the second one. And I'm just going to tell you this right now. I, honest to God, liked season 3 about as much as I liked the other 2 seasons. And I'm including the movie as part of season 2. They're really good. They're entertaining. Tanjiro is very likable. The animation is gorgeous. And I will say, something I liked about this arc, I like the world building. What can I say? I love it when you get to see parts of an anime's world that shows you things about, like, how the swords get made, what is the process, what's the lore, what's the meaning. Those are little things I love, considering the other arcs have just kind of been like, we're on a train. We're pretending to be hookers. Like, it felt very much just like simple, find the monster and fight it. But here, I did feel like we learned some interesting things, and I did appreciate what we got for what it is. So why does it feel like I may be in the minority? Why I feel more people than not are saying that they're kind of just getting tired of this shit? Well, as I said, I think the problems are just starting to become much more noticeable. So first and foremost, I kind of knew the show was going to have problems from like episode 2. After that incredible first episode, I think maybe, and I know this might sound crazy, maybe the first episode of a battle shonen ever. Episode 2 ruins all the tension, all the seriousness by immediately doing jokes and playing Nezuko up as cute, and also taking the show's big selling point and kind of ruining it. Yeah, the big selling point of this show is the idea Nezuko has been turned into a demon. She could snap at any minute and kill Tanjiro. This is pretty interesting and pretty exciting and epic and makes you wonder where this is going. I thought it would be really interesting to like get more glimpses into Nezuko's mind and like understand her psyche and what's going on with her. That scene in episode 1 where she's trying to eat Tanjiro while crying at the horror of what she's about to do at the same time is so fucking strong. And then we never get there again. Yeah, pretty much the minute episode 2 comes out, Nezuko becomes a Pokemon. Like, Tanjiro puts her in a box, she never talks, she has the stupid scroll in her mouth the whole time. Doesn't she, like, literally just get hypnotized by the teacher to be like, oh, you see everyone as your family? So she's not even, like, making the conscious decision to do the right thing. She's being controlled and manipulated. She has no agency in the story that she is the main focus of. And this is where the problems happen. There is also too much comedy, a problem a lot of battle shonen have now. On top of that, you have characters like Zenitsu and Inosuke who are mostly annoying and just make the show feel overly complicated. All these fucking Hashira who, the minute I saw them, I kind of felt like I was immediately disengaging with the story. I don't like a lot of their designs. They feel so much more overly busy and complicated as opposed to the fun simplicity of our main crew. And every arc now is just meeting a new Hashira and meeting a new upper level demon. And these were problems that were always here. So when I see people all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, it's going downhill, I'd say to you, you just didn't notice. Where were you before? Like, where were you in season 2 when instead of like, I don't know, this might sound wrong, but instead of like having Nezuko pretend to be like a demon hooker, you just dress the guys up while Nezuko just does fucking nothing. I heard so many complaints now about Nezuko stuff, but it's like, this was always here while you were all deciding she's the greatest character in all of anime. Let's look at the other elements. A lot of people are kind of getting tired of Tanjiro. He's always sad. He's always feeling like he's not enough, but he's always like altruistic and pure and perfect. I don't mind Tanjiro as a protagonist. I actually kind of like between like him and Midoriya, we do get main characters who can feel sad and vulnerable and defeated in a way that like Ichigo, Naruto, or Luffy never did. But I do understand why after a while the formula of this character does get old. He is very simple. He is very straightforward and has only the one goal. And when that never changes in a story that never really grows, yeah, it is kind of annoying. What about our 2 new Hashira? Are they interesting? Not really. You got Tits McGee, who's just kind of like Tits McGee, and that's it. She has a very like standard girly plot that people really fucking hated. I liked she had interactions with Nezuko. That was kind of different. I liked that Nezuko seemed to really like this character, and you saw that impact her. Was that supposed to be our little hint that Nezuko would finally get something by the end of this arc? I don't know, but like the other guy, I don't give a shit. Just another generic, sad, sexy samurai boy. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. Fuck it, I'll take Tengen again. Like, yeah, he was an ass, but that was the point. Or even like with Rengoku, he's altruistic, but again, that's the point. These characters don't seem to have a point. They're just there because that's the show's formula. And I feel like people after a while just get tired of the formula, especially when for so many years you live in that hype world of everyone saying Demon Slayer is the greatest thing ever and it's perfect and I love it. After a certain point, when you think only in those terms of it has to be perfect or it's nothing, you start to just realize all the problems and they hit you a lot harder. I'm not saying everyone should approach anime the way I do, and not at all. But I think you should always go into shows with some healthy level of what expectations should be at. Something could be the greatest thing ever, and you may never know it. I was not expecting my favorite anime of this season was going to be sad, sexy people and period piece drama, but fuck it, it's incredible. Just as the same token, I never thought the Konosuba spinoff would have been shit, but it was. That's just kind of how you really should approach things. Don't go in with hype. Don't go in expecting the greatest thing ever, and I'm guilty of it too. But when you go into a show, always go in thinking it could go any way and just let yourself experience it. And I think that's what'll help you in the future when going into hype and popular anime. Because the hype shonen train does not seem to be stopping. Or is it? I actually don't think there's any more like popular shonen jump titles right now. But my point is, above all else, just enjoy things. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. If you want to keep watching Demon Slayer, that's fine. If you're tired of it, that's fine. But treat it fairly, and that is what I will leave you with today. But did you like Demon Slayer Season 3? Are you still on board with this franchise? Do you still love it? To each their own. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time for more hot takes that probably aren't really hot takes.